Hi, I'm Michelle Pegler of Gingy Makes Quilts, and I'm back with another Sewcialites block for you today. I'm going to be giving you just a couple quick tips on some alternate construction ideas for block 6, which is called the Always Star block. So here's my version, and I will show you some ways that I changed the pattern and how to put this together. So let's get going. So I've got just a couple of alternate construction tips that you can use if you'd like. For me, I think it makes the block a little bit easier. So the first one that I'm going to be doing is for these inner flying geese, the light blue ones that are around that center circle. I'm going to do the 4 at a time flying geese method for those, because there's 4, and I'm even going to use a directional print. And when you do the 4 at a time and you want them all to be different orientations, the print is actually going to come out perfect so that it's all the same direction. So I'm going to be using this taupe word print where the light blue fabric is, and then my standard background that I'm using. And I'll do the 4 at a time, and then I'll be able to have all the words going the same direction on those. So I've got the cutting instructions here if you want to do the same. And you could also use the 4 at a time for these outer flying geese if you want, but my next construction tip is going to make that, in my opinion, a little bit easier and combine some of the background pieces. So here's the cutting instructions if you want to do the 4 at a time flying geese for any of the sizes. You can screenshot that. And then this is trimming down. So when you finish each flying geese unit, you can then look at the pattern to see what you need to trim it down to. So those are right there. So then the next tip I have is around that outside border. Get this side by side. So if you look on the standard pattern, it has you make these corner pieces using, a blue square, a white background square, and then a white rectangle, and then you have to make all 4 corner units like that. Instead of doing that, I'm actually going to combine all of that background into a single piece on either side of this like flying geese triangle that's on the outside of this block. So I'm talking about the red flying geese at this point. So I drew it here, but essentially I'm going to cut the E pieces the same as the pattern, but then I'm going to cut a different size piece for all the rest of the background that goes around the edge of the whole block. So for each one, you would need 4 H pieces and 4 I pieces. That's just what I called them here, but you've got a longer piece and a shorter piece. And this is also going to change the construction of the block, because instead of getting to this point where it's essentially a 9 patch, a grid of 3 squares by 3 squares, you actually want to make the whole center section and then attach like the side border pieces and then the top border pieces. So that's how this is going to change, and I will show you the cutting for that if you would like to make that change. So you can see for each one you're going to need 4. So for instance, I made the 9-inch, and so I cut 4 2-inch by 5-inch rectangles, and then 4 2-inch by 3.5-inch. And so on my drawing I called the longer ones H and the shorter ones I. And what that means is that when I'm putting those together, I'm going to lay my long piece like this on that rectangle. So my 1/4 inch on this diagonal, and if you want to mark it, you can. I probably will mark it to sew a nice straight line. And then you're going to need to trim it, press that open, and then sew the other one on. So it's like making a flying geese, but you're just including the whole rest of that border for that whole edge as part of that step. So those are all the tips I have for you, and I hope that makes this block a little bit easier for you. Thanks for watching.